So we're going to work on here is a high extraction miche. I'm going to add my water to my bowl, and I'm going to hold back about 5% of the water, which I'm going to add in the later mixing stage. Take my dry ingredients, my salt, my culture, and add it to the water. Okay, cut. Once I have all my ingredients in here, I'm going to set it back into my Heusler spiral mixer and mix it for 4 minutes on first speed. After it's finished mixing on first speed, I increase the mixing speed to number 2. And once I can visually see the dough tightening up around the hook, I slowly add the remainder of my water, which for this particular mix is going to be approximately 50 grams of water. Now that we've formed some strength in our dough, we slowly introduce some water, just enough till it coats the bottom of the bowl. Stop, wait 30 seconds, and add some more. Once we're done mixing our dough, we take it out of the mixing bowl and ideally place it into a plastic sprayed container. One thing you always want to do at this point is organize it. And then the key is always take a temperature reading. And for ideal fermentation, we'd like to be about 75 to 78 degrees. Once we've gotten our temperature reading, we close it with a lid and allow it to go through the bulk fermentation process. Once 45 minutes have gone by, with our Miche project, we want to give it a stretch and fold, where you pull on the back, on the front, and on the 2 sides. The benefit of this is to develop strength, balance out the temperature, and expel old CO2. I also recommend, once again, checking the temperature so that you can properly monitor the fermentation process. Ideally, your dough should be between 75 to 78 degrees. So for the next stage in our Miche project, we want to prepare a banneton lined with some flour, making sure the dough doesn't stick. We take our dough that came right out of its bulk fermentation stage, and what we're going to do is like a stretch and fold. Fold it in a third, fold it in another third, fold it over on itself, bringing this, which was the bottom membrane, up on top. And now we're going to start to shape this into a round ball, like a snow plow, pulling snow along the ground. We want to build that outer membrane into a tight and smooth sphere. Being careful not to break that delicate membrane that you've been working so hard during the mixing phase, as well as the stretch and fold phase. Once you feel that the dough has some strength and stability, right now you can see that nice form we pick it up and we put it into our banetone upside down so that the seam is looking up at me. I will now leave it out for about 15 minutes at room temperature, and I will then shut this down in the fridge for an overnight fermentation. So after our miche has gone through an overnight cold ferment, I toss a little bit of flour on top to make sure it doesn't stick to my surface. Put a little flour down so that it glides nicely into the oven. I take it and I flip it upside down and let it naturally fall into place. Take my hand and just sort of rub that top surface slightly. And then I'm going to use a stencil that I've cut myself. And I'm going to compress it on top. And then with some black cocoa, gently remove the stencil. And then make the incisions. Now the incisions you want to do at about a 45-degree angle. I'm going to make 4 of them. And then it's ready to go into the oven. My recommendation for a loaf this size should be about 430 to 450 degrees for at least 45 to 50 minutes.